You sure she's in?
Yeah, sure she's in.
She got any money stashed in the till?
Well, she's always got some cash lying around.
Much, Charlie?
Enough for a couple of beers.
You're not pulling my leg, are you?
Look, she's in. Where else would she be?
Well, let's go, huh? Come on.
Okay.
Well, Charlie, where does she keep the tin?
Yeah, in the cupboard in the back here. Hey, listen. What happens if she wakes up?
We'll tell her what comes.
Who's there? Is that you, Charlie?
She knows.
What do you want, Charlie?
What are you gonna do?
What's this? Who's in trouble? Can't tell you who they are? A couple of kids on top. You want to take a look with me?
Yeah.
Take it easy. Take that side, man. All right, you guys, come on now. Get in, John.
I'll get this one.
Okay, fella. He does it now. Okay, fella, now easy now. Nobody's gonna hurt nobody. What's this all going on here now? Nobody's gonna hurt nobody. That's the idea. Take it easy.
copper.
Drop it, Sonny. Now, don't be stupid now.
Screw off, copper. Screw off.
Easy does it now, fella. Look.
Screw off, copper.
Come on now.
Screw off.
Look, little boy.
Come
you
on,
gotta get
copper,
yourself
screw
up
off.
now. Now, just take it easy.
Screw off, copper. Oh.
All right, Luke.
This one's dead, Luke.
All right, fellas, have you had enough? Steve, can move the one outside? Yeah.
This'll fix you until we get to the hospital. What did he cut you with, a cleaver?
How is it? What's her name? Marlon, what?
Martin. Ida Martin.
Did you know her?
Yeah, I knew her.
He's taking 10 minutes. Let him through.
Hey, what happened to his face?
You wait for 2 minutes while I get him upstairs. I'll tell you all about it, but unofficially, remember.
What's the deputy doing here? Something big happen?
One of the arresting officers killed this man's partner.
How did his face get beaten up?
10 minutes, I promise you. Coming, deputy?
I'll see you up there in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
You're Patrick Emery, aren't you?
Yeah.
What are you doing here? You're a drama critic.
Well, seems to be the vogue. Literary examinations of homicide. Truman Capote, you know.
How's McGovern?
Oh, I hardly see him about. Publishers talk only to God, not drama critics.
And politicians.
That's something I have no interest in. Politics.
Excuse me.
Yes?
Pat, are you finished?
Just taking it down, Evan.
I want to see it before you do.
What? No one's edited my copy since I joined this department.
Mr. McGovern wants to see it.
What's going on?
Sit down, Pat. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, and Detective Luke Butler. Lord of the lands and of quick justice, Luke Butler, last night, while the city slept,
Hey, listen to this. Luke Butler, last night, while the city slept, took into his own hands the law of the land and meted out death to Leonard Bowles. Amid the garbage and the festering rot of a black and empty lane, Luke Butler held court. Before the rotting face of a slum, Luke Butler brought in a verdict. And before the weeping face of God, Luke Butler executed Leonard Bowles.
Who wrote that garbage?
Pat Emery.
That figures.
Steve, it's a very moving story.
It's a load of manure and you know it. Ida Martin was 78 years old, and that kid Leonard Bowles stuck a knife into her and ripped her up from here to here. He also severed the officer's brachial artery. You know what that means? The cop was literally bleeding to death while he was trying to take the knife away from him. What do you expect him to do? Just stand there and get carved up? Well, he hit him and Bowles fell off the balcony.
And he was killed.
Hello, Sarah. Have you had any sleep?
No, I want him to see me first when he wakes up. I want him to see me first, you understand. 26 years he's been a policeman. He's never killed anybody. He's a hard man, but he never killed anybody. Now they say he's a murderer. 26 years. He's a good man. Honest, brave. He never took a nickel. I remember once
Sarah,
when
the deputy's coming over to see him. Why don't you grab a coffee or something? I'll stay with Luke.
No, I won't leave him.
Okay, I'll bring you something.
Morning, Byron.
Morning, sir.
Morning, Sarah. How's the old man?
I'm sorry you're leaving us, Guy. It's been a privilege working with you over the years. I'll turn to page 4 every morning. Out of habit. And it'll no be the same without your column. My Lord, this is becoming maudlin here. From all of us.
You should.
Did I interrupt? I'm sorry. I just wanted to say goodbye to Mr. Walton. Goodbye, Mr. Walton. Good luck. Don't let me spoil anything. Carry on.
I had a small speech prepared, but I think I'll just say thank you. Thank you, everybody.
I liked your piece on that brutal policeman, Butler. Is that his name?
Luke Butler.
I want you to stay with it, Mr. Emery. We could use a series. It's important to the citizens of the city. Do you think you can handle it? I'd appreciate it. I can promise you.
Well, I'm not a political writer, Mr. McGovern.
We're all political writers, Pat. Whether we like it or not. I'm depending on you.
Do you know how many officers are going to resign this year? Any idea? 109.
Seems to me that if these men are being attracted by better offers, there's nothing much we can do about it.
Nothing much. They are resigning because they are demoralized. Every time some newspaper screams police brutality, you back off as if we had the plague. We can't ignore this. What would you do, Judge? Or you, Mayor, if this paper called you a killer?
Come on, Deputy, what do you expect us to do?
Sue them. Sue them for libel. My God, are the police the only people in this city without rights?
Isaac, this is an election year. Think we're going to get into a brawl with McGovern and his newspaper?
Whose city is this, Mr. Mayor? McGovern's or the people's?
Grow up, Deputy.
My client was the grandson of the dead woman. Is it not reasonable to assume, therefore, that those prints might have been caused at some earlier casual visit?
Well, I suppose it's a reasonable assumption. But both his prints and those of Leonard Bowles appeared to have been made at the same time, especially on the biscuit tin. I have no assumptions about that.
Anything else, Mr. Shapiro?
No, sir.
Does the Crown wish to present anything else?
No, Your Worship. That's our evidence.
You may step down, Mr. Storer. I feel that the Crown has presented enough evidence at this hearing for me to remand the accused to the next court of competent jurisdiction. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right.
Mr. Shapiro, what does that mean? What's going to happen?
Well, there'll be the grand jury hearing at the next assizes and then the trial.
They're going to hang me, aren't they, Mr. Shapiro?
I don't think so, Charlie.
Excuse me, sir.
You don't care. You didn't want this case. You only took it because they made you.
Doing everything I can, Charlie. You've got to trust me.
Why the hell should I? You don't care what happens to me.
Charlie, if you're not satisfied, just tell the court. They'll appoint another lawyer.
You don't care. You're going to let him hang me.
Damn it, Charlie. She was your own grandmother.
For God's sakes, help!
That's just the kind of client every young lawyer needs. Hey, you know Steve Wojeck? Steve, Abe Shapiro.
Nice meeting you.
Abe.
Mr. Shapiro, I'm Patrick Emery of the Sentinel. My papers set up a defense fund for your client. Now, if you need anything, money for the
Mr.
trial
Emery,
or
tell McGovern that if he wants to play politics, he can play it with someone else's life. Not my client's. Excuse me.
Dr. Wojeck, you got a minute?
Yeah.
Is there going to be an inquest into the old lady's death?
Well, you heard the magistrate. Charles Martin has been remanded to trial.
And there won't be any inquest?
There's no need for one.
Thank you.
Mr. Emery, you didn't ask me whether there's going to be an inquest into the death of Leonard Bowles. Or are you just assuming that he was murdered?
Why did you have to say that? It's fine. Why couldn't you just keep your mouth shut?
What kind of wine is this?
Bernkasseler Doctor, 1959.
My grandmother used to make something like this out of raisins.
Oh, come on, Steve. You're not a slob. Now, why do you insist on playing that stupid game?
Because it bugs you, Arnie. Because you're such a pompous little guy. Sometimes a blind and stupid little guy. Well, maybe not stupid, but deliberately insensitive. You think a lousy bottle of wine and a fish dinner is enough to con me?
Steve, this could be the most important room you'll ever be in your entire life. Now, you can be what you want to be, get whatever you want to get, with the help of a couple of men in this room.
What men?
Well, that's not important unless you're interested.
Arnie, who's paying for this meal?
Steve, I am talking about the men who run this province. Now, this is where it happens. Not in the boardrooms and not in the legislature, but here, in this room.
What are you talking about?
Look, you've been making a lot of noise around town. And these men think you're a comer. Huh? They want you on their side. How much do you make out of that Mickey Mouse practice of yours?
Enough.
Well, there's a hunk of land that the province is going to expropriate in a year or so. Right now, it's going up for sale. A man with the right friends could pick up the option for $5,000 or $6,000.
I don't have $5,000 or $6,000, friend.
That land could be sold back to the province for $100,000.
Don't look down now, Arnie. But your fly's open.
Polish friend didn't buy it. We need that district, Mr. Bateman. He's the only man that can bring it in for us.
He won't do it.
Mr. Bateman, people change their minds very easily. They swing from point of view to point of view.
Not him. The more you push him...
I don't mean to push him. Just lead him a little. Ask him how he'd like to be Minister of Welfare of this province. There's a title that should appeal to his crusading nature.
Mr. McGovern, Wojeck is not stupid.
I never doubted his intelligence, nor do I question his ambition. Put it to him this way. If he were to be Minister of Welfare, and you Attorney General, you two could do more for the good of the people of this province than any other two men have done before. Do you think that would appeal to him?
Yes, it might. It just might.
Good. Keep in touch, Arnie.
Yes, sir. Goodbye, Mr. McGovern.
You were lovely.
Thank you. How did your meeting go?
As expected.
Sarah, they say I can go home tonight. Sarah?
Oh, that's nice, dear. It'll be nice to have you home.
I'll be all right.
Oh, of course you will, Luke.
Excuse me. I'm Patrick Emery. I'm with the Sentinel.
Oh, yes.
Do you read the Sentinel?
Yes.
Did you read my story about your neighbor, Luke Butler?
Wasn't that terrible? The way he killed that old woman. Wasn't she his grandmother? Or the other one's grandmother?
How do you feel about Butler killing the boy that way?
What way? I don't know. I wasn't up the alley, neither were you. Just Luke and that terrible boy. Him with a knife in his hand after killing that poor old woman. I mean, I know Luke Butler, and he wouldn't have done a thing like that unless he absolutely had to.
Do you need any help, Marty?
I hope you like martinis, Mr. McGuire.
Thank you, I do.
Steve thinks they're a feat.
Hi, Pop.
One of these days, I'm going to put them in a zoo.
Mr. James is here with another man. He looks like a cop, too.
Told you never to use that word.
Dad, Stevie put a worm down my back and told Mom it was only a piece of grass.
Hi, darling.
Hi, darling.
All right, upstairs to bed.
How are you?
Who's in there?
Byron. I'm the deputy chief of police.
Are you two finished yet?
Upstairs, come on.
I'll take care of it.
Steve, I think you know Isaac McGuire.
Henry, why?
I'm sorry to bust in like this, Dr. Wojeck, but I just got the pathologist's report on that kid Butler hit. Is there any chance that Luke used unnecessary force?
Bowles died of a massive cerebral hemorrhage. Could have been the blow, could have been the fall. But the point is, McGovern's paper has completely ignored the fall and has ignored the fact that the death could have been due to an accident.
I wish Bowles had gotten away.
What?
They're going to crucify Luke. You know that? They're going to hang him up, tear his guts out, and let the birds pick him clean.
His wife has been receiving all kinds of crackpot phone calls and letters. She's worried. She's scared.
Does Butler know about that?
She's scared of what Luke might do to Emery for starting all this. She didn't want to tell him.
When will you have the inquest?
As soon as Butler's up to it.
I'll get it.
Oh, for God's sake, Sarah, there's nothing wrong with my pens.
Hello, Sarah.
Oh, thank God it's you.
That's been bad.
Who is it, Sarah?
It's Byron.
Bring that dumb cop in.
He sounds all right.
I haven't told him.
Hello. Yeah, this is Detective Butler. What was that? What's your name? Look, I'll find you. Hello.
Luke.
Is that why you wouldn't let me answer the phone? Have there been more like that?
Some.
$10 a hole, Arnie.
It's your bet.
What are you going to do about all that noise in the newspaper about that officer?
I don't know. I haven't thought about it.
Well, I have. If the Sentinel doesn't let off, you might have to suspend him. What's his name?
Luke Butler.
When's the inquest?
I don't know. Wojeck was waiting for Butler to get out of the hospital. He hasn't set a date.
Arnie, you know Wojeck, don't you?
I sure do.
Arnie, what's Wojeck going to do with it? Make a big stink? We don't want no big stink.
You better tell him, then.
What's wrong, Arnie? You frightened of that big Polak?
You get cute with him, Judge. He'll give you an inquest that'll make the D-Day landings look like a barn raising.
Like you in your office?
It's fine, thank you.
Good. We're getting a good reaction from your series. Be proud of what you're doing.
Thank you, sir.
Did McDowell tell you we're thinking of starting a permanent feature? Do you mind? Something like what you're doing, but on the editorial page?
No.
You're right.
Three.
43.
44.
44. 45. 46. 47.
48.
You double count.
49.
48? No, 48. Mr. American. Whoops. Whoops, what are you doing?
Why don't you try?
Oh, no, you're all soggy.
Well, you don't good. Hmm? Dr. Wojeck. Oh, hello, Mr. Butler. No, you weren't disturbing me. Well, I haven't set a date yet. I was waiting for you to get out of the hospital. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Well, tomorrow morning will be fine, yeah. At your convenience, then. All right. Thank you. Good night.
What do you mean he wasn't disturbing you, eh?
What's all this?
Oh, filthy letters, religious tracts, postcards. Everything from evangelists wanting to save my soul to perverts wanting to play games with me.
You're kidding.
Oh, the phone calls are the best. Women calling, telling me their husbands will not be home from 8 to 6. There have been some great invitations.
How's your wife taking it?
Oh, she tried to hide it from me for a while, but you can't hide that kind of schmutz, you know.
Is there something personal between you and this guy, Emery?
I don't even know the guy.
Then why? Why is he doing this to you?
Sorry, I'm late. How's the yarn look?
That's okay.
Have you seen this?
You're really pulling in all the stops.
After it had been as low as 140.
How are you doing, Miss Mac? Why are you crucifying this man?
Me? You know that the Sentinel writers have editorial freedom. And besides, Pat Emery believes every word he writes.
You're going to have to suspend this officer. No. I refuse to sacrifice the reputation and career of a good officer simply because this board panics.
Easy, Isaac.
It's true. They're frightened of that lousy newspaper. They're scared stiff of McGovern.
Deputy, we do not have to tolerate these insults.
Insults? I'm not insulting you. I'm telling you the truth. If you knuckle under to McGovern on this, you'll knuckle under to something else. And soon this department will be nothing more than a political beanbag.
Deputy, we demand you suspend this officer. And we want an investigation.
You're getting one. You're getting an inquest.
We're going to have something more tangible than that. Something public, so everybody can see.
Perhaps we should hang Luke Butler to a cross outside the new city hall.
I demand you withdraw that statement.
Keep on demanding.
Gentlemen. Just cool off for a minute. Do you realize just how much public influence the Sentinel swings? Do you know how much it's worth to us?
It's worth 10 cents on weekdays and 15 cents on Saturdays.
We're ordering you to suspend Luke Butler, pending investigation. This meeting is adjourned.
Booze for lunch.
You want me to call Luke, or will you?
I'll do it.
Sarah? Hello. Oh, much better, Isaac. Yes? Well, thanks for calling. Must have been a hard thing for you to do. Yeah, thanks, Isaac. Sarah, what's wrong? All right, no, okay. All right, there. Easy does it.
Want to see this? Take it to McGovern. He's been editing your copy lately, so why bring it to me?
You're the editor.
Not on this, no, sir. This is strictly you and McGovern. It's his responsibility.
Well, I can bring you some water so you can wash your hands.
Why are you doing this, Pat? Why are you letting McGovern use you? And now that. How many people have you actually spoken to? How many people have actually demanded that the Attorney General step in and investigate our police department? How many?
Enough to know that people want something done about the police.
How many? A dozen? 6? Some guy in a street corner? How many, Pat? You've got to be responsible for what you say.
Publisher's satisfied.
You're enjoying this, aren't you? You're getting a kick out of destroying this man, this Butler, aren't you? You're beginning to feel this little bit of power that McGovern has condescended to bestow on you. And you feel 10 feet high. And do you not realize he's using this as a political gambit to embarrass the government? He'd use his own mother if it'd sell newspapers.
Excuse me, sir. There's a man here to see Mr. Emery, Mr. Butler.
Ask him to come in.
Mr. Emery?
That's Emery.
Look at that. Look at it. That's what my life has been like since you started writing that crap. I had to hit him, you understand? You know what it's like to stand up there and face some kid who's ready to cut your guts out? Well, look at her, for God's sakes! How'd you like your wife to get that delivered to her, eh? And filthy phone calls and dirty letters and God knows what else.
I didn't know. I didn't.
Yeah, well, put that in your scrapbook.
Ellie, come here.
Yes, sir?
Take that and get rid of it. Put it down the incinerator.
So help me God, I didn't know.
Mr. Shapiro. Mr. Shapiro, what did they say?
We haven't got an insanity defense. We're going into that courtroom with our bare faces hanging out. The only thing we've got is your story that you didn't know Bowles was going to kill her.
Will they hang me?
I doubt it, Charlie. They'll probably sentence you to hang, but it'll be commuted.
What does that mean?
20 years, maybe less.
But I'll be 40 when I get out. I'll be an old man.
Charlie, you're an accessory to capital murder.
But I didn't kill her. Bowles did it. All I wanted was a couple of bucks for a few beers.
Why didn't you just ask her for the money?
Luke? Luke?
Hello, Byron. It's Sarah Butler. Have you seen Luke? He's gone. His gun is gone.
Oh, hello, Pat. How are you? It's nice to see you.
Could I speak to you for a minute?
Well, I'd be glad to, but I have a dinner engagement. Good evening, George.
Please. All right. I want to be taken off the series.
Why, Pat? You're doing a fine job.
A fine job?
You've managed to rid this city of a cruel and sadistic police officer.
No, he wasn't. I just made him that way.
Were these stories inaccurate? Were they?
Yes, they were.
That we published them believing them to be the truth. We published them believing you had done your homework. If you were not truthful, then that is your fault. Not mine. Not the papers. I suggest you forget this man, Butler. He's supremely unimportant. What is important is what we've done.
What we have done? We've destroyed a man's life.
Are there no brutal men in the police department? Are they all honorable and honest? What difference does it make whom we get? As long as we make the public aware that its rights are in danger.
What we have done.
You, Pat, not we. Just you. Those articles bore your byline. You must bear the responsibility. Good night.
My God, Mr. McGovern, we've got to do something.
Hello, Mr. Butler.
All right. Give me a receipt for this.
What's all this?
That's what some people think makes a cop. You can have it all for a dime.
A what?
I'll give you the dime back in the morning. I want to make a phone call.
We use one of these.
No. Give me the dime. Thanks. When you get the receipt ready, I'll be right back. Sarah? It's me.
Make sure you mail these right away.
Yes, sir.
Here.
Well, thank you, sir.
Hello, get me the Daily Sentinel, please. Mr. McGovern, please. This is Patrick Emery speaking.
Yes.
Mr. McGovern, this is Patrick Emery. I just wanted to tell you that...
Just a moment. I want to transfer you to McDowell's office.
Just a minute.
Would you switch this call to 2256?
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Evan, this is Pat.
Oh, Pat, when are you coming in? I've got a memo here from McGovern. He wants me to switch you to something else.
What?
He wants you to cover the restaurants. You know, food, service, wines, that sort of thing. Pat?
Evan, tell McGovern to read the papers tomorrow. I just sent some letters out. Operator, get me 237-8397. Mrs. Butler, this is Patrick Emery speaking. Please don't hang up. I just want you to know that I'm sorry and I'm going to make it up. Goodbye.
Dad, are you ever going to stop being a carpenter?
No, why?
Well, I heard you and Mom talking about getting into politics.
Politics?
Well, are you?
No.
What is politics, Dad?
Well, that's a tough one, Stephen. It should mean the science and art of government. You know what I mean? Well, it means that the men we hire to run our country should be interested in the welfare of the people they work for.
But they aren't.
Some are, some aren't.
Well, if they're not interested in the people, what are they interested in?
Themselves, mostly. It's a pretty one-sided game. They not only make up their own rules, but they also pick the referees. You see, Stephen?
Steve, come on, hurry up. Bonnie will be here soon. And you go to bed, eh?
Yes, ma'am.
Steve?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yuck. It's domestic.
What were you expecting? Bristol cream? The artist has to pay for this himself.
Well, I bet you...
Wojeck, darling, you're a St. Mildred's girl.
I bet you he's not drinking this.
Arnie.
Oh, Mr. McGovern. This is Marty and Steve Wojeck. This is Mr. John McGovern and Miss O'Hare. I think you know my wife.
Dr. Wojeck, this is a pleasure.
I see you don't have a drink.
It's very kind of you, Doctor. You'll excuse us, I'm sure. Yes, of course.
Did you bring me here to meet this guy?
Steve, I swear to you I didn't know McGovern was going to be here.
I'll bet you didn't. Let's go, Marty.
Excuse me. Are you Dr. Wojeck?
Yes, I am.
There's a call for you. It's rather urgent. It's right here.
Thank you. Hello, Dr. Wojeck here. Yeah, Myron. What? What hotel? When? Yeah, all right. I'll be right over.
You want to wait for a minute,
Let's go, Marty.
Ah, not one of those doctor's emergencies we hear so much about.
It all depends what you consider an emergency, Mr. McGovern. One of your men, Emery, just took an overdose of sleeping pills. Did you figure that an emergency enough? Now, why would he do a thing like that? Why would a man like Emery take an overdose of sleeping pills? Because he was sick of himself? Sick of you and what you made him do? Why? Oh, come on, you owe him that much. Just a small shudder of distaste, eh? I wonder how long it'll be before you forget his name. The way everybody's forgotten Ida Martin's. Let's go, Marty.
Who's Ida Martin?